Hello and welcome to Supcom FA Alliance. This is the Storm Worldwide People's Championships. ZLO is the challenger. He gets to choose the first map, and choosing UEF on the Storm, very unusual. Maybe that will confuse Voodoo, although he's choosing the more usual choice for this map. Seraphim, floating arty should dominate. Probably will only do one game from this series. This is not my usual setup. You might have some audio issues. I don't really want to think about those. But I'm really happy. One way you can check if there is UI lag is going back and forth, and if it goes really fast, you probably don't have it. So as UI is working, also the Domino mentioned that there is some easy way he can make lag go away, which is be amazing. And also new server for FAF, updates, great things happening. So overall, FAF alive and getting better, which is great. Voodoo, not surprisingly, second air. Actually, let's see, ZLO, no, so you can see the difference here. ZLO is gonna sit back at actually six pigeons, then air. Some of the early engineers get the Hydra, they will likely get an air factory there as well. This map early on, all about air control. If you can grab air control, you know exactly what's happening. You can use bombers to cut off engineers. This map, you can see how spread out the engineers or the mask projectors are. So cutting off any of these NGs is huge. And of course, the way to do that is either by cheating with floating arty or auroras if you're Aeon, or bombers, gestures if you're Cybern. But in this case, if you UEF, until you get either Tech 2 land or Tech 2 air, your only real options, guess mech marines could work somewhat, but they're fairly easily defended against, is the bomber, which it tends to miss. You can see ZLO coming in with a mech marine. So I'm really curious to see what ZLO will do. Is he going to be quick navy, quick land, quick air? So far we're seeing looks like second land here and another air factory. So three total of three air factories. And this initial engagement with air is critical. And let's see, I'm actually going to slow this down a bit. See McMarines on both sides and first victim. So McMarine avoiding getting too close to the Angie so they wouldn't get sucked up. First blood. This initial air fight is so critical because once you lose air and the other player has 2-3 NTs on you, they can begin to dominate all the future air battles. And really the way to win it is not necessarily to rush and try to fight over your enemy, which is really dominant if you're really much better than somebody. It's really to draw somebody in and fight closer to your own production. Looks like this floating arty. That's one of the reasons there is no engineer here, is because ZLO decided not to even send one. He knows this floating arty is going to be a problem, and it's actually going to be a big problem here unless it gets hit by some bombs. A bomber standing by for ZLO, and I've been hearing, did this mech marine avoid the ACU? Definitely good work so far. What we've seen is ZLO winning air control. Both of his mech marines have been deadly, and good defense. That engineer would have died. Good timing on that bomber. Also, in the middle, there's an engineer. I'm not sure if ZLO has spotted that yet. And one thing about Voodoo, he's doing the unusual. Typically, people run across with their ACU. One of the big reasons is that you want to claim this territory as soon as possible. Grab those rocks. This is 5 mask extractors you want to get. So you really want to get this expansion and this expansion if you're at the bottom corner. But what we've seen from Voodoo, he has been denied metal, which he should have gotten naturally because he's Seraphim. He's been denied this by the Mech Marine. He has denied himself these mass extractors because he didn't send the ACU there, and also the problem with that engineer. So ZLO is now ahead by 3 mass extractors, or plus 6. Also, you can see what air dominance will give you. Uh, Voodoo knows that ZLO knows exactly where he is. That's what, 253 damage from that series of bombs, and that really should not have happened. Hero interceptor. Perhaps Voodoo can do some damage on the left side. I'll speed this back up. He is doing a pretty good job, I guess, recovering. He's got a single engineer here, a second one coming in. This is where this bomber cutting out these two engineers would really set Voodoo back. And if Voodoo can make a fight for the middle and perhaps eventually claim the middle, he might get back into this game. In terms of Navy, seeing some subs from Voodoo, the Seraphim weak subs, and a couple subs, sub-frigate combination from ZLO. Those frigates are critical for him to fight off all the floating arty, and the air dominance continues. Air dominance, and look at that. That's a huge gap. And we're going to see another bomber. Surprised I haven't seen any transports from either player, especially ZLO. And one thing, if you notice the way people, the way the top players fight in these Tech 1 air fights, you want to have that air battle, and then you want to take your interceptors and give them a move order away from the battle. That way they kind of bunch up, ready for the next show. You don't want to just leave them patrolling somewhere. This will be a critical engagement. Factory plays down 2 factories for ZLO. Of course, ZLO isn't going to be surprised. Perhaps Voodoo. Well, Voodoo has to know that most likely ZLO is he is over there. That'll be the standard. And submarine for Voodoo coming in. He's anticipating that somebody might be going for a dive. And Voodoo, pretty big push. These units actually coming in all the way from his base, putting pressure on ZLO on the left side, the middle. Still no man's land. And this floating arty abuse has been very disappointing so far from Voodoo. Has more bombers. And here it is, Tech 2. Tech 2 land pillars. Okay. I would expect to see, okay, so pillars were the necessity to put out the fire on the left side, but riptides are likely going to be the answer. As Voodoo, getting himself in a bit of trouble. Can he overcharge? Not sure. The game sound might be way too loud compared to my voice, for which I apologize, but that's why I don't cast too many times, because gotta worry about all this crazy things. That's why you got Brink to take care of you, and of course Guile. I was hoping he'd come back in October, but that's what happens when you get married. Voodoo now actually getting back ZLO, surprisingly low on power. He's got all of his build capacity making pillars, and these pillars doing a good job. This will be a critical air fight. I think these numbers might actually be close. A lot of air out of fuel, and actually numbers for Voodoo. However, Voodoo really getting pushed back. And in Navy, plenty of subs and frigates to kill Voodoo if he decides to hide in the water. But air has, yeah, you can see ZLO just ran away. He is now making some Tech 2 flak. As we're going to see Tech 2 versus Tech 1, and these pillars will run everything over. Voodoo has upgraded to Tech 2 Navy. He's going to get a destroyer out. And he's really spamming gunships, so he's looking for a snipe. Gunships might not be a good idea given that there is Tech 2 flak. ZLO running. Oh, this Tech 2 flak might die too. That's a precious Tech 2 flak. There's another one. If somehow Voodoo can kill that, ZLO could be in trouble. Voodoo continues to spam on actually some torpedo bombers. Meanwhile, there's nothing separating Voodoo's base from these pillars except some space. These pillars need to just rush in and kill everything. Destroyer's halfway done. Tech to air coming in. ZLO is going to go back home. So Voodoo has claimed the top. Perhaps finally a drop at minute 12 from ZLO. He'll grab the middle. But this is a major problem. Perhaps when that destroyer comes out he can do something. But I really think Voodoo is going to die here unless he can kill ZLO right now, which I don't see how he can possibly do it. He's going to lose his base. There is no Tech 2 flak here, but just the sheer health of these. No Tech 2 flak. A bunch of torpedo bombers. Only a single gunship. That's 50 DPS. That's going to take a long time to kill an ACU. A couple more gunships coming in. ZLO with a couple Ilshevas continues to push. And now the inevitable. Another critical air fight, and Voodoo completely dominates it. Flak way out of position. ZLO hides in the water. He does have a couple subs protecting him. Will this destroyer ever be finished? I don't think so. It would be really nice if that destroyer was finished. It could really, yeah, it would have done a good job. But Voodoo just ran out of resources. He had no map. Tech to Flak now on the scene. Imagine 15 kills. That's well done from that Tech to Flak. Some Tech 1 Flak there as well. Voodoo continues to push. He has no base. His destroyer is finished. It's not submerged. And Voodoo is calling a GG. He wasn't even gonna let that destroyer have a peek. It probably would have died to Tech 1 anyway. So hopefully people enjoyed this Worldwide People's Championships. This I believe is Voodoo's second defense. And of course Legstock is paying people when they defend. I believe 50 euro. So for Legstock and all the other donators, it's better when the champion loses. Otherwise, we lose money. So please beat the champion. All right. So hopefully people enjoyed it.